to Tefo His Touri channel. My name is Catharina Magrietha Kruger and I will tell you the story behind the his story. Oh no. Today it's an animal story. Yes, I will tell you the story behind the story of Hippopotamus. Why Mr. Hippopotamus only eats grass? Grab yourself a cup of coffee and let's start histouring around. By now you must know that I will first tell you a little bit of facts about, say for instance, hippopotamus before we can get to the story why Mr. Hippopotamus only eats grass and not fish. You see, the word hippopotamus comes directly from Greek, and if you translate it into English, it means river horse. Hippo in Greek is horse. Potamos means river. So horse of the river. Now why did the Greeks name it horse of the river? Heaven knows. Probably they had a little bit too much ouzo to drink when they named this creature. Now let's look what this funny looking animal is called in other languages. In Zulu it is mfubu. In Swahili, that is the language that they speak in Eastern Africa, that is kiboko. And then, funny enough, it's got even a more weird name in Afrikaans that is spoken here in South Africa. It's called sea. The direct translation would be sea cow. Now that is funny. It's even worse than river horse. Then the Dutch calls it a nail pad or a Nile. That is the river Nile. Horse. Paard is a horse. Weird. Probably they met up with the Greeks and decided, okay, it must be the river Nile's horses. River horses. Heaven knows, too much oozos, as I told you before. What is really funny, that Europeans, the Greeks, named this animal river horse or hippopotamus without seeing it in real life. Yeah, they named it only by looking at pictures. But maybe the Greeks saw some similarities. Let's have a look. Is there any similarities between a river horse, hippopotamus, and a horse? Get yourself some ouzo or pop something into your coffee. Both species are mammals. Both species do eat grass. Both species nearly gets up to the age of 40. And both of them run in the same kind of movement when they are in shallow water. Yes, if you have seen a hippopotamus, it trots like a horse in shallow waters. Or mostly it looks more like an astronaut landing on the moon and trying to run. Now, dear history lovers, the differences stares us in the face. A horse looks like a horse, and a river horse looks more like a hippo. How did the Greeks get it so wrong? I don't know. Now, according to scientists, the hippopotamus is closely related to another animal, another mammal, called the whale. Yes, the whale. So, according to them, a hippopotamus and a whale had a common ancestor that lived about 60 million years ago. And this common ancestor had a whale-like huge body, and then with tiny little feet that they walked with and swam with in the ocean as well as in rivers and walked on land. Now, can you imagine this funny looking animal, a whale with this small little feet? Well, if you think about the hippo, it has got this fat little body with this tiny little feet. So maybe it's the truth. some similarities are both species are mammals. That we are really clear on. Secondly, they both give birth underneath the water, and their calves suckle under the water. They've got these huge lungs that expands when taking a 2-second breath, and then they submerge underneath the water for 5 minutes before they need another breath. They have a multi-chamber stomach. Another similarity is they've got a fatty layer on them. This fatty layer would keep them cool and protect them. And both of these species can speak underneath the water or communicate underneath the water. Whales can speak whale, and hippopotamus can speak hippo. You didn't know I had the talent. Before we get to the story of the hippopotamus not eating fish, I firstly want to tell you about more facts about the hippopotamus. For instance, where do they live? Now, for some South Africans, they do know where they live, but let's say you didn't know. You can also listen and maybe learn something. You would find the hippopotamus mostly in rivers, shallow rivers, also in swamps, and sometimes on the beach. Yes, they're at St. Lucia Bay, that is in KwaZulu-Natal province. You would find hippopotamus even walking on the beach. Funny enough, in the evenings, if you are there, you would see them even doing window shopping. So it's a very dangerous little town, St. Lucia. But needless to say, so they live in the water. In daytime, they would just hang in the water or stand in the water, for hippopotamus can't swim. Yes, they can't swim. They just bounce up and down to breathe and just go underneath the water, or just their teeny weeny little nostrils and small ears would stick out of the water. At night time, they would submerge and they would go and feed on grass. Sometimes they can even walk up to 4, 5, 10 kilometers to go and find a bit of grass to eat. When they are the most dangerous is when you are trapped in between the hippopotamus and its water. It's very, very territorial. So if the hippo is outside of the water and you're stuck in the middle and he wants to get back to the water, you better run. But please don't run towards the water. Run in another direction, because otherwise the hippo can snap you in half. Let's look at the food of the hippopotamus. We already know that the hippo eats grass. Sometimes they do chow or eat a little bit of zebra steak. Yes, you heard me right. Sometimes the hippos do eat meat. Scientists have found out that they do eat zebra. They're in Botswana and Zimbabwe. They took some video footage of a hippo eating a bit of zebra meat. So that is really weird, and one would think, why would they do that? Well, scientists do say that it may occur in a drought period of time when they lack nutrition. They would chew a little bit of meat as well if they can't find enough grass. Or probably they are just opportunists. Or maybe they've been eating meat all along and we didn't know it, because we only see them in daytime when they are submerged in the water, and we don't know what hippo does when hippo actually get out of the water at night. Now let's look at the skin of the hippopotamus. Oh, it is hairless and smooth, but very sensitive against the sun. That is one of the big reasons why the hippopotamus stays underneath the water in daytime. The only thing that you would see sticking out of the water is the flickering ears and the hippo's nostrils. You see, old Hippo has got a trick up its sleeve. It's got its own sunscreen. Its body secretes a pinkish reddish color oily substance that protects the skin against the sun. In the olden days, the people thought, oh my goodness, the hippo is busy dying. It is sweating blood. But as we know today, this is the trick of Mr. Hippo, protecting himself against the sun with his own sunscreen. Let's look at Mr. Hippo's teeth. You see, it's got normal molars that would chew the food, but then he has these scissory-like huge tusks sticking out of his mouth. Mostly he used these tusks for fighting. These tusks are made of pure ivory, even better than ivory of an elephant. For this ivory of the hippo will not turn yellow but stays white. Here's a funny fact for you. President George Washington's false teeth were carved out of hippo tusks and not out of wood as they previously thought. Now, when a hippo is in the water, you would usually see him yawning, but he's not really yawning. No, he's not tired. He is showing his dominance in his little piece of water. By opening his mouth, he's showing his big tusks and warning you not to get into the water. Now, unfortunately, hippos are mostly hunted and killed for its skins. They do make whips with the skins, and then for these tusks that is made out of this pure ivory. So human beings are one of its biggest predators. Sometimes you would find that baby hippo are killed by crocodile, lions, leopards, and so on. But big hippos do not really have predators except man. But when they would probably get older and weaker, maybe Mr. Lion would take his chance on an old hippo. As you know by now, hippo babies or hippo calves are born underneath the water. They do also suckle under the water. By closing their nostrils and closing their ears, they are able to suckle on its mum. Hippo milk is white, and not as the internet sometimes states that it's pink. Now, that would be totally weird. Strawberry milk, it would be nice though. But no, the milk is a yellow whitish color. Hippo babies sometimes do get tired, and they even get onto the mum's back when they are tired and sleeping on its mum's back while mum is still in the water. Remember, they've got small little legs and they can't always stand where mum is standing because hippos can't swim. Now, hippos show their dominance in the water by opening its mouth and showing its big tusks and making these huge noises. You must actually come to Africa and to hear this. And go to Kruger National Park or even to St. Lucia, where you can go on a boat and view these animals from very close by. But on land, they do mark their territory by taking their tail, and while they are busy doing their thing, they scatter their dung with their little tail all over the place. So on riverbeds and in grasslands, sometimes you would see feces that is scattered all over. Then you must know this is the territory of Mr. Hippo. So let's get to the story of why Hippo is eating grass and not fish. For you see, when the Creator created all the animals, He created poor Hippo last. There were not a lot of stuff left to put together a beautiful animal. No, there was a ball of fat, a pinkish skin, small ears, a small tail, a huge mouth, a huge voice, and then these huge tusks. That was left to create Hippo with. So the Creator put together this weird looking animal. So after Hippo was created, he was feeling chuffed and ready for the world, meeting all the other animals. So he came to the monkeys and to Mr. Lion, and when he greeted them, they started laughing. Good day. My name is Hippo. And the monkeys. Oh, Mr. Lion laughed. They laughed so much that Hippo started trotting away. You know that funny little run of him? He started running with his fat body, and the sun was baking on his body. Oh, and he got sunburnt. He was a pink color. And he was crying. All the other animals are laughing at me because I'm looking like a funny kind of beast. I'm not pretty. So he went back to the Creator and he asked the Creator, oh, please, can't I just go into the water and maybe just submerge and at night time come out and yes, just eat some grass, and when the animals are not awake and when they are sleeping, and they won't be seeing me and they won't be laughing at me. Can't I just go and stay in the water? You see, by that stage, all animals except the fish were staying on land and not in the water. So the Creator thought to himself, no. So the Creator said, I'm sorry, you will eat all my fish, Hippopotamus. You will not be able to stay in the water. And Hippo, he was crying, and then each day after that, he bugged the Creator and he bugged the Creator, each time asking the same question. And so one day the Creator said, okay, Hippo, please. I'm sick and tired of you nagging in my ears. Just go into the water. But you have to promise me that each night you would come out of the water and eat grass. Secondly, you will take your little tail and scatter your dung all over the place so that I can see there's no fish bones in your dung. And in daytime, you better open your mouth very wide when you are in the water so that I can see there's no fish bones in it. Oh, Hippo was so happy. He jumped up and down and he said, I promise you, Creator, I will do exactly that. And so that is why Hippopotamus stays in the water in daytime, so no other animal can laugh at him. Each night he will get out of the water, eat grass, take his tail, shook it, through his dung, and he would also open his mouth wide when he's in the water in daytime. So history lovers, this was then the story behind the his-tory of Hippo eating meat, fish, a zebra steak. No, eating grass only. So join me next week for another story behind the his-tory or her story, or another animal story. Who knows? Well, hit subscribe, like, and share. See you next time.